meeting of the Torrington Board of Education at 5:32 p.m. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ellen, when you're ready, please call roll.
Mr. Berger.
Here.
Ms. Conway.
Here.
Mr. Corey.
Here.
Mr. Cronin.
Here.
Mr. Predis.
Here.
Mr. Ucalito is excused. Ms. Honig here. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Knight. Here. Mr. Putnam.
Here.
Mayor Carbona, representative. Ms. Ferguson. Here. Ms. Klemazewski.
Here.
Ms. Labby. Here. Mr. Cabola.
Here.
Ms. Schulte. Here. Ms. Beans. Here. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. I will hear a motion for the approval of the agenda if there is one.
Sorry. Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have our agenda. School, community service, and public participations. If anybody's signed up. Okay. Okay, so we have one sign up here in person, so we'll start there. I've got to read the paragraph. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or on other topics of interest. Individuals wishing to make comments are requested to fill out the speaker sign-up sheet, including your name and address, which must be stated at the beginning of your comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall to guarantee operation of the meeting. So we have Erin Sullivan as our first in-person speaker. Take it away.
This is a good spot there.
Wherever you like.
Okay. Hi everybody, Erin Sullivan. I'm a teacher at Torrington High School. And I wanted to give a recap tonight of our recent Scotland and Ireland trip in part of my notes. Over spring break, a group of THS students embarked on an educational tour through Ireland and Scotland. The trip was an outstanding success. Our students' enthusiasm and maturity were a credit to THS and all we do here. We started in Dublin, where students had a chance to explore Phoenix Park, St. Patrick's Cathedral, Trinity College, and several of the city's museums. Students learned about Ireland's Viking history, the story of Irish independence, the importance of music in Irish culture, and the global impact of Irish immigration. Whether touring landmarks or navigating the city in small groups, they brought a thoughtful and respectful energy to every experience. In Northern Ireland, students had a deeply moving tour of Belfast, including a visit to the Peace Wall, where they themselves wrote personal messages on the wall of hope and unity. The first-hand encounter with the history of the Troubles was handled with sensitivity and compassion. The students embraced the city's charm and even had a chance to perform during one of our cultural nights. We had a guitar player and a singer from our student group. They also loved exploring some nearby natural landscapes. Giant's Causeway, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was a huge hit. Crossing by ferry into Scotland, students continued their historical and cultural immersion. We traipsed all over Edinburgh, visited the birthplace of Robert Burns, including the sighting of Brigadoon, climbed monuments, toured castles, and participated in more local traditions. A tour through the Scottish Highlands, including Glencoe Valley, Loch Ness, and Nolan's Abbey, offered natural beauty and hands-on history. Throughout the trip, students were both adventurous and resilient. Even when the unexpected happened, we had a little early morning evacuation of the hotel due to a fire alarm, which according to the hotel was a very naughty and ambitious spider setting off. But the students handled these surprises with good humor, teamwork, and positivity. At every stop, our travelers. They asked great care of our THS community, kind, respectful, and just plain amazing. I'm so grateful we could give them this opportunity to broaden their horizons, deepen their global understanding, and create lasting memories. Thank you for supporting global learning experiences like this one. Our students return home with new perspectives, new friendships, and a richer understanding of the world and their place in it. And I would also just like to shout out my fellow chaperones, Lisa Roach, Mary DeMarchi, Richard Dubois, and Maggie McGillicuddy, who used every opportunity to connect with our students, build on their learning, make curricular connections, and really just support them along the way. I couldn't do this without them. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We also received an email from a parent that had a student on the trip who just raved about
their experience from a parent perspective and being kept in the loop throughout the whole thing. I don't know if there was a blog or if there was access to a
I do
certain.
my email home to the
Yeah,
families.
yeah, so they were able to follow you through the trip, and she just had wonderful things to say, so I wanted to mention that too.
thank you.
So thank you. It sounds like they had a great time.
Excellent. That's all I have who's signed up. Is there anyone else here in person who would care to address the board? Okay, is there anyone online? Someone told me that Mr. Lafreniere may. Excellent. Take it away, sir.
Good evening, Jason Lafreniere, proud special education teacher at the incredible Torrington Middle School for the past 21 years. That's 2 decades of teaching, advocating, adapting, and yes, loving this work. Thank you to the taxpayers of Torrington for your support, which has allowed me to help shape the future of this city one student at a time. I hope you'll continue to support the very system that's doing just that. Thank you to the Board of Ed for allowing anyone to speak at your public forums so that you get a full scope of information to be able to make informed decisions. Mr. Corey, I hope that I don't step on your toes and steal your thunder. I'm fully expecting and looking forward to a snarky, honest, good of the order from you in response to last night's joint Board of Finance and Board of Ed meeting, but please indulge me a little longer than the usual 3 minutes. I've got a few things to say. Let's start with last night's commentary, specifically from those who appeared suddenly to weigh in on public education and the budget with the confidence of someone who skimmed a headline and decided they were now an authority. Let's be clear, this budget process has been transparent. It has been public. It has been accessible. There have been presentations, Q&A sessions, forums, you name it. The invitation has been open for months. Instead of showing up then, some folks waited until the 11th hour to swoop in, armed not with facts, but with hot takes and half-baked outrage. Public education isn't a punching bag for those who've ignored every opportunity to engage. It's not a piñata you get to swing at because you just realized the party was happening. Dialogue is welcome, questions are encouraged, but performative outrage at the last possible moment, that's not civic participation, it's community theater. And spoiler, no one's winning an award for it. Next year, I hope more people choose to show up before the curtain call. Now let's tackle some of the greatest hits from last night. We're just throwing money at the problem. Right, because investing in teachers, student supports, mental health resources, safe buildings, and actual materials for learning is clearly the same as tossing spare change into a fountain and making a wish. Here's the truth. You can't starve a system and then criticize it for being malnourished. You can't gut funding year after year and then seem shocked when outcomes fall short. Throwing money isn't the problem. Pretending we can fix complex educational challenges with less of it is. And then there was all the chatter about the FAST Academy. So many assumptions, so little facts. Just to be clear, there is a principal for that building, and we are not building a program from the ground up. Let's be clear, the need for alternative education didn't originate in a classroom or in the school building. It didn't start with teachers. It's a reflection of the world our kids are growing up in, what they hear at home, in the streets, and especially online, where schools are regularly mocked, mistrusted, and scapegoated for everything short of traffic. And just to be crystal clear, educators aren't standing in classrooms staring down families. We're not the ones modeling disrespect. We show up every single day for every student, no matter what's going on in their lives outside our walls. The division, the disrespect, that's being modeled loud and clear by the very voices dragging public education through the mud, then asking why students no longer value it. We can't keep feeding kids a steady diet of contempt for schools and then act shocked when they disengage. If we want fewer students needing alternative programs, if we want better outcomes, if we want to rebuild respect and trust, then the grown-ups in this community need to start setting the example. We can disagree on details, absolutely, that's democracy. But what's not fair is pretending to care about children while using schools as a political chew toy. Our students deserve better, our educators deserve better, and frankly, Torrington does too. Thank you to the Board of Education, thank you to the administration, and thank you to my colleagues for making this one hell of a community that I'm proud to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lafreniere. Is there anyone else online or in person, last call, who would care to address the Board of Education? Okay. None, we'll move right to recognitions. Take it away, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. So we have a bunch of recognitions this evening, and those are always the highlight, as you know. So we're going to start with Torrington School. Come on down and do our normal, everyone who was recognized will come back this way.
Torrington School would like to recognize our intervention team. Torrington School has 6 dedicated interventionists who cover full out Tier 2 and Tier 3 math and literacy, and sometimes writing or other things that come up as needs for students in intervention. We call our intervention team the Dream Team at Torrington. They're integral in our success and student achievement. The team works directly with students in Tier 2 and Tier 3, ensuring interventions used are research-based and aligned to best practices. They collaborate often, not just with each other, but they always have a common process, progress monitoring, resources, and language when working with students so that the outcomes are seen no matter what the interventionist you see, you'll get the same outcome. Our student data demonstrates growth when those students are working with our intervention team. We've seen phenomenal growth year over year with this team in place. Additionally, the intervention team supports teachers in providing tiered interventions in the classroom. They have provided specific professional development to teachers to support intervention implementation in the classroom, including strategies, progress monitoring, and documentation platform support. They facilitate student success team meetings where we determine specific targeted goals, strategies, and progress monitoring tools. And we've started to offer office hours to give specific feedback to teachers, be a thought partner, work with them to figure out what strategies the teacher can implement, and also in Tier 2 intervention in the classroom. So they've really come together to not only help the students, but really raise the level of instruction in the classroom as well. They also lead our district assessment team and function as our school-wide data team. This includes a deep dive into group and individual data to determine our intervention needs. There are great resources for parents as well. Interventionists attend parent conferences, collaborate with families, get on the phone with parents if they have questions or concerns, and ensure a partnership with parents to ensure student growth. So the team really supports every part of the Torrington community, and we're really proud of them. When Mary Gatt came on as our Office of Teaching and Learning staff, we introduced them to her as the Dream Team, and that she would be blown away, and she was. So, the team that I have in front of me: Sarah Hanna, Megan LaFay, Randy Zima, Diana Mazzacane, Jen Fernandez, and Sarah Reynolds could not be here today.
Or else Marissa yells at us. You don't want Marissa yelling, trust me. You don't need that. And Jeff will get upset. I very upset. Marissa, we all in here?
We don't bite.
Come on in this way, you come on in, come forward. I'll stand in the back.
Thank you.
Dr. Buchanan, come on down.
I have the pleasure of recognizing 2 of our administrative colleagues this evening. If you remember last year, I shared with you that 2 of our administrators, what they do above and beyond their daily job is pretty amazing. They were 2 of 4 administrators across the country to be selected to work with the U.S. Department of Education's Task Force on Artificial Intelligence. So I want to give you the update. So Peter Michelson, principal of Vogel Wetmore Elementary School, and Gavin Craig, assistant principal of Torrington Middle School, are leading efforts to integrate artificial intelligence into K-12 education. Their leadership was highlighted during the 2024 panel discussion organized by the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Technology, where they shared insights alongside other school leaders on the transformative potential of AI in schools. Mr. Michelson emphasized AI's capacity to customize learning experiences and assist educators in developing innovative instructional methods. He also highlighted the importance of using AI to shift educational focus from rote memorization to fostering higher order thinking skills. Mr. Craig discussed how AI can streamline administrative tasks, thereby increasing direct interaction time between teachers and students. He also stressed the necessity for professional development to ensure that educators are equipped to use AI tools effectively and responsibly. Both administrators expressed concerns about equitable access to AI technologies, potential biases with AI systems, and the importance of safeguarding student data privacy. Their proactive engagement in national discussions underscores Torrington Public Schools' commitment to embracing IA thoughtfully and ethically to enhance educational outcomes. So building on their current initiatives, both Mr. Michelson and Mr. Craig are scheduled to participate in the panel at the 2025 American Federation of School Administrators National Conference this summer. And at this event, they will delve deeper into the implementation and implications of AI in education, sharing their experiences and strategies with a broader audience of educational leaders across the country. Very proud of what they do.
You were the one.
You introduced them.
Yes.
What's booking?
I went to beautiful Las Vegas in July. Wow, you're in it.
Mr. Scott, come on down.
So I'm going to do this a little bit different tonight. I actually have a group of people that are going to come up and talk about our recognition for me. So come on up.
Get anything now?
Yes. The floor is yours, ladies.
Nice and loud.
Hi, my name is Carla. And my name is Miranda. We're from the Advanced Culinary Arts, and this was just to start off that the Sandwich Showdown was something that we did an event in the Torrington High School. It was an exciting TV show style culinary competition that we held in class. We worked in teams to create our own unique sandwiches and then raced against the clock, which I think we only had 40 to 30 minutes to get finished on in time just for all three.
And our sandwich was called the Chipotle Chicken Crunch Delight. And the reason why we chose this kind of sandwich, and we thought that it would kind of be like nutritious for everybody. And we thought that it would include like vegetables, stuff like that, to be kind of all inclusive to everybody's likes and needs. And before the competition, each team had to make a poster to advertise our sandwich and explain why it would be a great fit for Jimmy's menu. We also had to figure out the food costs of the grinder that we concocted using the prices from Jimmy's menu to calculate the cost of the meats and the cheeses.
And Robbie was so kind to give us all the ingredients out of his menu, so we didn't have to deal with that.
So our recognition tonight is for Robbie from Jimmy Sandwiches. So come on up here. Serve as judges for both rounds of the Sandwich Showdown, which was a lot of sandwiches, but well worth it. They were excellent sandwiches. So,
Thank you very much.
So they probably explained a little what went on there, but I was very happy to be involved in the process with Jen, culinary teacher for the first and second course, 6th and 7th period, whatever it was. So we did 2 periods, so we had 3 sandwiches and 4 sandwiches, specialty sandwiches. Of course, they asked me to be the judge. And of course, Fran and I, who works at Jimmy's also came down to be a judge, and along with these guys. It was tough to pick one, so we picked all 7. It was tough to pick one. And you know, we asked around what their favorite was, and everybody had a different one. So I don't think we did a bad thing, you know. So the kids were really good. The sandwiches were amazing. They get posted on Jimmy's Facebook every week. Today we just did one for this upcoming week. Just to give you an example, was the Mac Attack. So it was mac and cheese, bacon, roast beef, and nacho cheese. Very healthy. These young ladies did an ever roast chicken. What else?
Provolone, lettuce, onions, chipotle gourmets, mayo, avocado.
So they were all really, really different, you know, and again, it was a pleasure going there. The two periods, we were welcoming. The kids were amazing.
Robbie's the best, because I went to him, we've known each other for 20 years, and, you know, I went to him and I was just like, hey, I have this idea, anything you need, anything you want, what do you need? And he didn't really even know what he was signing up for. And then he said, wait a second, wait, what do I have to do? And I'm like, you have to come in, and like, and he's running around, you know, it is a lot of his time, because he's running around during that time making deliveries, so, you know, I do appreciate everything, I mean, not just the fact that you, the donation of the food, but, you know, your time as well.
Thank you. And Fran came down and worked one-on-one with most of the groups. You know, they didn't know really, you know, we showed them how to cut the sandwiches, the bottom higher than the top, you know, we explained everything to them, how we do it at Jimmy's, the weight, how much goes on each one. And Fran went group to group, one-on-one, and I gotta tell you, the final outcome was amazing, huh? The final outcome was amazing.
Fantastic sandwiches. So stop by Jimmy's for the next few weeks. You can try one of the Torrington High School student sandwiches, and I think you vote there too, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna do something on Facebook at the end. And
You get to vote as to which sandwich is your favorite. That way we know who the real winner was. I voted for these guys, but. Yes, Ferguson was there, Mr. Peters was there, so thank you.
So again, it was very, very nice. And I do want to thank all you guys for keeping the city of Torrington going and going well, and no complaints. I had a tour of the high school, superintendent over there, and I got to tell you, wow, I mean, it's amazing, amazing. So you guys did a great, great job.
We have our building committee coaches.
Finally, Mario and Ed are off the TV. I can watch something else now. I run every night over there, you know? So yeah, it was really a pleasure to go through with Ryan and Mike and go through the school, and wow, it was amazing. I can't believe that's in Torrington, Connecticut. So you guys should be very happy with yourselves. Nice
Thank
job.
you.
Nice job. You're in. Now you're the vocal one. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
We have one more. One more. So we have one additional, it's not a recognition, but something that we wanted to bring to you guys tonight. You all know Wayne, so I'm going to turn it over to Wayne.
So when we started the whole building project, I thought about a way we could help kind of dedicate the new auditorium. So I contacted a nationally known band composer when we started the whole process and said, I want to commission you to write a piece that we can play in the auditorium in dedication of the new building. So this composer I've known for a long time. We talked about what it's like to be in a new school. We talked what it's like to be in music. So he came up with the title Welcome Home, because music is home for so many kids. So throughout the process, he would zoom into rehearsals, and the band kids could say, we like this, could you change this, this is what we like. So they were an integral part of the actual piece. The piece has not been published yet, and it has already won an award. Pennsylvania, there's a professional wind ensemble that has new music competition. This piece was submitted, and out of 50 pieces, this won first place. So this is going to be played, Welcome Home is going to be played by that professional wind ensemble on May 19th. Any band that purchases the song, on top, right above the title, says, commissioned by Torrington High School Band, Torrington, Connecticut. So our school, again, is going to be on the national stage based on the music that was created for us. It's a long piece. It's about 6.5 minutes long. We are not gonna play the whole piece for you tonight. I did come up with a shortened version, so at least you can kind of get a feel for what the piece was, so. That's a short version of the piece. I told the kids, there's no pressure on you. You're the first band ever to play the piece. So they did a great job. It was a lot of hard work, but again, any band that purchased the piece will see Torrington High School Band, Torrington Connecticut High. And the composer personally said to me, I've never been more excited about a tune as this one. This is before it won the award and before we even played it. So this is a piece that's have a long life. So
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
I'd like to just quickly add, I have the full length of the piece available. You can access it either going to the packet on the website, or if you're watching the live stream or watching the video after the fact, it's in the description.
Great, well, thank you. I was going to ask, so I appreciate that. And next, we'll hear from our student representatives. Take it away when you're ready.
Hello, my name is Angelina Panaranda, and I'm from Angola, and we will be your student presenters tonight.
Valuable hands-on experience through field trip certifications and real-world teaching opportunities.
This month, our child development students stepped into the role of a teacher for the first time. Delivering engaging lessons to pre-K students, they created fun and educational activities that helped young learners explore concepts like plant biology, nature, and color mixing. This hands-on experience allowed our students to practice lesson planning, group management, and adapting to the needs of young children, critical skills for those pursuing careers in education. 18 of our child development students successfully completed on-site training in Red Cross Pediatric and Adult CPR and First Aid right here at THS. This hands-on certification day provided them essential life-saving skills, preparing them for future roles in childcare and education.
Additionally, 7 students in this pathway have taken the next step by preparing for the Para-Pro assessment, a certification exam for paraprofessionals in education. This initiative, led by Ms. DeMarco in collaboration with Human Resources Department at Torrington Public Schools, offers a valuable opportunity for students to gain hands-on experience and certification as they explore careers in teaching and classroom support. By participating in this program, these students enhance their skills and gain insight into the important role paraprofessionals play in creating a positive learning environment for all students. This commitment to professional development will greatly benefit them in their future educational pursuits.
Another standout experience came from the Learn to Teach course. Students visited Boba Wetmar Elementary School, where they stepped into the teacher role and led interactive lessons with kindergarten students. Using the Kids Play Room-a-Jig, a hands-on building system designated to promote creativity and problem solving, the students engaged young learners in activities and sparked curiosity and collaboration. This experience provided invaluable insight into the world of education and helped our students develop key teaching skills like lesson planning and classroom management.
Our FCCLA members attended the spring conference at Naugatuck Valley Community College, where they participated in workshops on culinary arts, fashion, and education. This event offered a great chance for members to enhance their skills and connect with peers. A highlight was a live cooking demonstration by Johnson & Wales University, which also visited THS to share tips with our aspiring chefs. The students were enthusiastic and inspired to pursue their passions further, making the conference a valuable experience for all involved.
In the Yukon Biotechnology course, students visited Northwestern Connecticut Community College to conduct genetic testing on foods using real lab equipment. There, they conducted genetic testing on food samples to determine if they had been genetically modified. Using college-level equipment and techniques like DNA sample preparation and gel electrophoresis, students gained hands-on experience that bridged the gap between high school coursework and college-level research. This immersive experience, made possible by a collaborative partnership between THS and Northwestern, allowed students to gain practical lab skills while exploring potential careers in biotechnology and molecular biology.
Sports medicine students continued working toward their first aid kit and CPR certification under Ms. Brewer's guidance, learning essential emergency response skills like chest compressions and rescue breathing. During the sessions, they engaged in hands-on practice, allowing them to build confidence in their abilities. The students also discussed various emergency scenarios to understand when and how to apply these critical skills effectively. By the end of the course, they felt more prepared to handle real-life situations where timely assistance can make a significant difference.
Lastly, our students had a chance to explore marine science during a field trip to Avery Point, part of the University of Connecticut's coastal campus, set against the backdrop of Long Island Sound. The trip allowed students to learn about marine ecosystems and environmental conservation. Students toured research facilities, observed marine life, and participated in hands-on activities that taught them about field research methods. The trip not only sparked curiosity about oceanography and marine biology, but also exposed students to potential college and career paths in environmental science.
From classrooms to college campuses, these experiences are preparing THS students for bright futures in education, healthcare, science, and more. Thank you for your attention, and that concludes Torrington High School Board Report.
So thank you both. Does anyone have any questions or remarks? Okay. Then, as always, thank you so much, and you are free to go and welcome to stay if you'd like. And with that,
Great job.
Mr. Scott will help you make that difficult decision.
one day, Mr. Scott, one of your students is going to be passionate about municipal government.
Yeah.
So we'll hear from the superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. I would first like to take a moment to publicly thank the Board of Education and the entire team, Central Office Cabinet, administrators, teachers, educators, all staff members who actually came out last evening to support the budget presentation at City Hall. Your support was greatly appreciated, and I think it went a long way that people saw us as a team and we were able to articulate our return on investment very clearly for all those involved while advocating for the needs of our students. Sue and I had a great time at the Wizard of Oz at the middle school. I know Kristen was right in front of us. She actually blocked my view at one point, but that's all right.
Oh yeah, all 5, 2, and 3.
The students were so amazing and talented, and I wasn't even scared of the Wicked Witch, so that was actually a good thing. But really true talent, the songs, the dance, the entire production. It was really an amazing evening. Sue and I also attended the CAAA site visit at Torrington High School, where they came to visit our music and art department, and we got to showcase our music and art students, as well as highlight our new building. And area districts, and further area districts, I should say, around the state also came up and were able to tour and see the great things happening at Torrington High School. As Robbie and Mr. Scott mentioned, I took one for the team, Board of Education, and I was a judge at the Sandwich Showdown, but the chefs were amazing, and Robbie said it best. There was no clear winner. It really was great that he chose all of them, because I don't know, Mr. Scott and I were fighting over some of our own picks at one point, but they really just did a great job, and every sandwich was amazing. Really a super highlight for me this month was, if you saw on Facebook, I had the honor and pleasure of having lunch with Liam, my new friend at Torrington. He put all of his Paulson tickets in for a chance to have lunch with me. Principal DeLulo showed me one time that they were doing this, and I said, well, why not put me on the stand there? I'll gladly donate something or come and do something. And she said, fine, we'll do lunch. I said, even better. And it was really cute that a lot of the students put their tickets in, but Liam and I had such a great lunch. We had some nice pizza, we had some great conversation. And he was able to bring a friend, which was even better, so I actually brought a friend. Mrs. Ferguson came with me as well. So we just really had a great time having lunch with those two students. And we've seen them now more and more as we've obviously toured the buildings, and they always ask me now, what funny socks and what cool cufflinks you wear, Mr. Wilson. So we really got down and deep with our conversation. So it was a really great time, and thank you, Kelly, for doing that and for making me part of that. It was an honor. Our spring sports seasons are all underway. Our student athletes, our student drama people, they continue to impress both on and off the field and on and off the stage and on and off the music platform, as we heard this evening. So couldn't be prouder of all of them to juggle all of that and still put on such a great presentation, whether it be on the sports field, on the music, or on the drama stage. Speaking of drama, the first production of Working, May 8th through 10th, am I correct, Mr. Scott, at the high school? I'm not too sure if I've heard of Working, but I will be there to support our students, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful experience. And anyone who would like to come out and support, May 8th through 10th. I would also like to share, as I shared with the board back in March, I had the honor and privilege of being asked to speak at the RTM National Superintendent's Forum out in St. Louis, and it was phenomenal. My topic was engaging every learner, overcoming the barriers to student participation through the power of team. And I'll tell you, it was a well-attended session. The competitive person that I am, and I shared this with central office when I got back. Of course, I noted who came to my session and who didn't. So I was the most highly attended session, but more importantly, really humbling experience to talk to superintendents from all over. We had superintendents from Georgia, Oklahoma, California, Florida, Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Mississippi. So it was really an honor and privilege to get to share our story. And I told you before I went that I would share our story and make Torrington proud. And that's what I did. And humbling for me was, at the end of the presentation, several of the other superintendents waited around and really just congratulated me and how invigorating and how great of a speaker and how great our story was. And they were really inspired, and I made some good connections, and several of them have reached out not only to ask me further about that piece of it, but also, as we know, our cell phone ban, right? That topic came up, and they had seen some of the video when Sue and I presented at the State Board of Ed. Georgia is making it a law. So my new superintendent friend from Georgia said, hey, why don't you come down and help me out with that? I said, sure, so I can get yelled at? I said, absolutely. But I think they were really just intrigued on our process, on how we do it, and the benefits of it. So it's happening all over, but it's really, really amazing to be recognized by all of the different areas and all of the different places around the states that have now are trying it or will be trying it, and really reaching out and networking with us, because we've piloted so many things and we've had some great, great interactions. One of the things that they were super interested in is how we've come together as a team. And I preached that throughout my presentation, the power of team. I included the board first and foremost. And a pause in the room for a second. They were like, well, how? And I said, listen, if you don't have them on the team, the work's not going to get done. And then we talked about our administrators and our teachers and our entire staff, and how we do it and how it starts and how we motivate and keeping the students at the center. That's why we're seeing the positive growth. That's why we're seeing the positive gains. I shared last evening at our budget presentation, I shared parts of that just at a round table. This wasn't at my presentation, but at one of the other presentations, it was all about budget. That was the presentation. And I went in and they said, we want to hear. And I shared our story and how we do a Q&A and how we have a Q&A document and how we make it a Vimeo and how we go about the process and how everyone is involved. And they were like, wow, our process takes X weeks. We did it so quick. And I said, it's not about doing it so quick. It's about doing all of our homework and everyone doing their homework and everyone coming together, understanding, being able to ask thoughtful questions and getting thoughtful answers. So I want to share that with the board because it was really amazing to me that, once again, looking to us, looking to say, give me some ideas. How can I do this? my new superintendent friend from Pennsylvania, my new super friends from Maine, they were like, wow, I'm gonna steal that. I said, absolutely. I said, there's no proprietary on it. Neither was my presentation. I made my QR code a Torrington T, it says we are team, very proud of it. And I will gladly share my presentation with the board after this meeting, but I couldn't be prouder and more honored to speak there. I do want to share a funny, one of the things of my new learning, because I had to attend several workshops myself, and one of the chief of schools from Chicago, Mr. LaRosa, came across this acronym, CAVE, and he uses it broadly, and it doesn't matter which organization, which community, whether it's a whole city, whether it's a whole school, or whether it's just some friends you're hanging out with. So he uses the term community just to mean that, so I just want to preface that. So CAVE, community against virtually everything, right? And we are not that, but it was kind of funny, and he led off with that for that reason. He wanted everyone to understand that if that's the mindset when you go into something, how do you change the mindset? And that was why he was such a great speaker. He spoke about having people in the buildings and in the community that may be naysayers, right? And how do we bring those naysayers on board? So for me, that presentation really just sparked a lot of thoughts in my brain and saying, okay, if we have this type of person, we have these type of groups, we're not doing a good enough job promoting ourselves and promoting ourselves as a team, because our team members are not reaching out to bring those people on board. So I share that because I thought it was pretty funny. I've never heard of CAVE people that way, but Mr. LaRosa gave me that one, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know, we had a couple of keynote speakers from, one keynote speaker was from Chicago, and another keynote speaker was from Florida. And believe it or not, in Florida, there are 4 superintendents in Florida that are actually elected officials. So he is an elected superintendent, which is pretty interesting, I thought. Granted, he has 14,000 students, but he is an elected official, and he does not answer to anyone as an elected official, which I thought was kind of crazy and unique. And his name is Dr. Rick Serency, and that's in Putnam County School District in Florida. He shared the pluses and minuses of being an elected official, as you all are elected officials, but as a superintendent being elected, I don't understand how that works. He tried to explain it in several different workshops, and I'm still not sold on that idea, but at the end of the day, it was good to see a different perspective as well. And finally, you know, what I wanted to share with everyone here is, you know, while it was a ton of work, a ton of preparation for me, and an honor for me to speak, it was actually also a lot of learning. I was able to hear from different superintendents from across the country, just like when they came to my presentation. And we learned new things. And the reason the new learning is important, just like when we have professional development for our staff, that professional development for me is important. And I immediately came back and shared it with the cabinet and shared it when we had one of the admin meetings already, and I will continue to share. And I was so happy to share back with the board. So I just wanted to share that, as promised in March, I made Torrington proud, and I'm honored, and hopefully they will reach out again. We've been in contact here and there for a couple of future conferences and potential speaking engagements, but nothing has been inked in, so there'll be more to come on that. But I wanted to share that it was a real humbling experience, and I couldn't be prouder to have the opportunity to do it. And I thank the board for supporting me in doing that, and I look forward to future events. So thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again on being able to represent Torrington and yourself at this conference so well. Anyone have any questions or remarks for the superintendent? Okay, then we'll hear the Human Resources report.
Thank you very much. So you have my report. You can see that we do have 2 new certified vacancies. Because of the time of year, we do have long-term subs already in both of those positions through the end of the year. So we won't be looking to fill them now, just while we kind of get through the end of the year. But we have qualified long-term subs in both of those positions. We have had some turnover in our classified staff, so you can see that we've had some separations. We are continuing to put substitutes in those positions as well through the end of the year, so we're just navigating through the, hiring somebody at this time of the year is not necessarily the best thing to do because we're navigating through the budget season, but we are making sure that we have qualified subs in those positions. Our March fill rates were trending right around where they have been all year. You can see they're just, in the 60s and the 40s for the paras. Our absences continue to go down a little bit from where they were when, flu season was happening. So if you'll remember the last couple of months, we were probably more in the 10 and the 15%, and we're going to get back down again, so that's great to see. As far as recruitment goes, we're actually wrapping up job fair season. I shouldn't say that it's wrapped up. We have one more job fair this weekend with the CEA in Newington. So that was a very well-attended event last year, so we're excited to be able to represent that again, Torrington at that event again. And we do have 2 resident teachers that have been accepted to the TRP program for 25-26, and they're both in the special ed category, so that's super exciting because it's in a high shortage area. And thanks to Laura and her team, we've got 2 very highly qualified mentors already set up for them, so we're very excited to continue that work. And ESS is actually holding a dedicated recruitment event at the library on May 14th for Torrington. So we've advertised it, we put the flyer out, so we put it on social media. So hopefully we'll be able to continue to try to grow our substitute pool. With respect to retention, we finished our office hours for April, and Dakina and I have been out and about in the schools. I was also very excited to attend the band concert at the beginning of the month in the new auditorium, so that was very cool. And we have completing our exit interviews and our first year teacher surveys that we do every year, just to kind of get that data. And then as the students mentioned, I was so excited to hear them mention that, we're working on Parapro exam prep and administration, which we've done consistently for the last few years for our internal talent, for our current paras. But with the help of Dr. Torres and Ms. DeMarco at the high school, we're excited that we're going to be able to do that at the school for the high school students that are graduating that are interested in following that pathway. So during their advisory, the teachers are helping to prep them for the exams, and then we're going to go out and do the administration at the high school for the students to be able to do that. So if they want to choose to be a para next year, they'll already have the exam done and completed. So we're excited to partner with the high school on that. And then our annual walking challenge started this week, and if you saw the email, the prizes are amazing. And so if you remember our prizes in the previous year, they had the our benefit providers logo on them, but we're excited with our new benefit provider that we get to put our logo on our prizes. So we have some very cool prizes. There's like a 7-in-1 game system with the Torrington logo on it. There's a speaker, there's earbuds that all have the Torrington logo on them. My favorite is the little picnic basket with the little travel charcuterie thing. Like, that's awesome. So we have a really great weekly prizes. And even the welcome gifts all have the Torrington logo on it. So it's really cool with the new platform and the new gifts that we're able to roll that out. So everybody's enjoyed walking. So second page, you have all the regular data. You can see that, our long-term absences are continuing to go up a little bit. Our daily absences are fluctuating. And then you have our turnover results, and you can see kind of at the end where we are as far as year-end turnover versus mid-year. And I am happy to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Kim? Thank you.
Thank you.
Special ed is next, right? Yep. Special education is next?
Thank you. So we are wrapping up, hopefully, with our initial referrals. We may still receive some from parents, but it tends to really slow down now, so that's great. We currently have 41 open special ed referrals. Some of those students will be going to evaluation for eligibility, but not all of them. So it doesn't mean like I'm suddenly going to pick up 41 more kids. But it requires, if a referral comes in, you have to have a PPT, you have to discuss the possibility of testing the child. So we have 41 open ones. Hopefully we're gonna get those done, and it's gonna end very nicely. So far this school year, we have had 35 students who have been exited from special ed and are once again gen ed students. So that's always a celebration. We are kind of struggling a little bit right now as far as the shortages with the para educators. We really are hoping that we'll get some more people applying. I am bringing in a couple of paras through a contractor, and that's great, but some of them are wonderful, and I would like to keep them Yet if I want to keep them, there is over a $22,000 finder's fee per para. So I can't do that. So unfortunately, some of these people that we have in place now, we will not be able to bring on as employees because I'm kind of prohibited from doing that for a year or more. But right now, that's what we need to do because we don't have enough applicants for paras. So I'm excited about the high school kids because hopefully they will be applying for positions. The other thing, speaking about the hiring, we are right now hiring for our extended school year services. We've been really lucky with our certified and we're in good shape. So I'm excited about that because usually we're begging teachers to please teach this summer and some of them just want a break. But we are set with our certified. However, we need paras still. So I just sent an email out to all of our paras saying, please consider if you know anyone who might be interested in working for us this summer at all. It's a great opportunity if they're considering applying for a position in Torrington because then we get to see how they're able to do with our kids and figure out what might be a good placement for them. So the programming, it's going to be running Monday through Thursday only, we don't do Fridays, from 8:25 to 12:40 from July 7th till July 31st. So encourage anyone. Last time I asked for help here, I was looking for speech and I now have my speech pathologists are all set. So whatever you did last time, do it with paras and then we're good. And for my next meeting, I would like to put together for you kind of like a little bit of a culmination of Laura's time in Torrington, and just kind of give you a synopsis of where we were, and what we've been able to pull together for you before I leave. So I would like to do that at the meeting. Okay?
Thank you.
Look forward to it. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think the para salaries that we have impact the inability to get para educators?
Yeah.
Where are we in our DERG as far as competitiveness with the salaries?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can jump in.
Yep.
But, so the issue is that many contracts for paras in our surrounding area don't have steps. We have 5 steps in ours, right?
Okay.
So our low end is not competitive, which is what we hire new people at.
Which is not,
But in a 5-year period, our high end is very competitive. It's more than what they would be making at their maximum in another district. So the challenge is the steps, that's.
how is it so the new paras that we're bringing in, are we basing their experience and any certifications?
So
Their
yeah,
salary is
so
driven by
the
that,
new
just like the
language that we've
certified
got in
staff.
the contract now allows us to hire somebody new on step 2 if they have some experience.
Okay.
But step 2 is the highest we can bring a new person in it,
Okay.
so.
The other problem is, other than the DERG, is the people that we bring in through the contractors. Sometimes the contractors pay a pretty high hourly rate. So we've had some really great people that live right in Torrington, and I've said, why don't you apply to Torrington? Why are you working for the agency? Because you can't meet the salary. So, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. But once they come, they really, really love us and they don't want to leave. So, the people that have left, there's been reasons. Like we just had somebody move to Georgia, and, so when they come because you'll like it, but it's been a little bit of a challenge, especially right now because there's a shortage.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You show here that 35 students exited special education, which is wonderful. Do you track how they're doing in regular ed?
It's funny that that you say that because not specific to regular ed, but I had just said to Steve Barton, I would really like to see if we can get some information on our students that have left Torrington Public Schools, have graduated on, and what they're doing and whatnot. So we're kind of in the works of taking care of that. We absolutely keep track of our students that are in the district because occasionally someone may come back around for a referral, but it really does not happen very often. So we are very careful before we exit, And usually, that will involve obviously testing, seeing where they are, but also weaning the service. It's not like, okay, you had 5 hours of resource a week and now you get nothing, so we kind of baby step it a little bit. And then even have like a check-in before we completely eliminate. But yeah, I mean, we have one student who, not only was in special ed, but was exited from special ed and is in our gifted program. So, yeah, we've had some success stories.
That's special lesson.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Just one quick one, Lauren, I apologize, I should have gone back and looked this up earlier.
Yeah.
But what impact has the new 5-year-old kindergarten start date had on our special ed members for pre-K and kindergarten? I didn't go back and look at the first few months, but I wasn't sure if we saw a shift or if you see a trend that's different because somebody may be in pre-K longer.
Yeah.
Have we seen
So
any impact?
because we've had kids, it used to be 2 years, everybody was 2 years and then they were done if they came at 3. Now we've got kids that are staying for 3 years, some of them. So yes, we're up a little bit from where we were like a few years ago. However, this steady increase all year, this is pre-K. The child turns 3, we have to provide services, that's how it is, which is why it's always hard to staff. It's the beginning of the year, I don't need as many in pre-K, but then as the year goes on, we do. What I think is nice though is somebody asked last night about if we wanted the pre-K to be at Forbes, if we had like a universal pre-K. And so I know that's not where we are and I'm just talking about SPED, but I really think that we have really been able to kind of offer some positive things now as a result of the Burr Baby year. Because, for example, all of our 4-year-old special ed kids, with the exception of a few that are in some of our programs or a few that are not emotionally able to handle a full day, all of our 4-year-olds are going to be participating in a full day, including our non-disabled peers. And I have 5 classrooms of that. So we only take the 4-year-olds in for to be a non-disabled peer. We don't take the 3-year-olds in. So I think that it's giving these kids, and they're also now gonna be at the K3s. I think that's great, because as the year goes on and the principals are on board with this, they're gonna spend more and more time doing things within the school, going into the big kid cafeteria, participating in the school activities, so that transition to kindergarten is going to be so much easier, I think, for the 4-year-olds. So I'm really excited that they're there. I wish you could have done it at Southwest too, but it's a start. So once I come back and check in, you guys are going to tell me it's at Southwest. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Great, thank you. I have next, we have the liaison reports, which are in the packet. I think I saw everyone's in there. But as usual, if any building administrators want to tell us anything else about your facilities that is not in the packet already, now would be the moment. Okay, same goes for you, John. If anything interesting is going on in advance that you didn't write down, now would be the time. But otherwise, let's do, I didn't even really look at them, I knew I wasn't gonna say anything. Let's do the monthly financials real quick.
Good evening, everybody. We all received the March monthly financials in the packet, and they were presented to the budget committee. We are in good standing. As of March, we're 3/4 of the way through the year, and we're at 79% spent with the encumbrances, with the money that was put aside. So we're in good shape. I don't know if anyone had any questions regarding the March monthly financials.
I do really briefly. I may be wrong, I didn't go back to look, but I don't think that this building use revenue number has changed in a long while. Are folks not paying to use our buildings? Is it too expensive? Are they just not interested? What's
No, you're correct. There's gonna be an updated version for the April one.
Okay.
And it will be updated. I think it moved about maybe $1,000 upwards, so we'll have that updated for the April.
Okay,
Good eye.
that's all for me. Anyone else have anything?
Is that because it's mostly organizations that support Torrington Public Schools, which is a great thing, I'm glad that that's happening, because that's where we would see the,
Yes,
you know, the influx of
I would have to say
fees,
yes.
but that's great, that's very good.
I do think it's also, there was a soccer group that we had come in, an adult soccer group, that we earned quite a bit of money.
Over the winter?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they relocated to the Armory.
Oh,
Because of the activity that was going on,
we had to.
we're happy to have the
move
Armory.
that. Yeah, that's a good thing, yeah.
So slight reduction, but not related to the cost.
Well, it was a big no.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, meaning cost that we charge.
Like, yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but so
right.
there's a reduction in
No,
the
there-
use, but it's
right.
not because of the cost we charge.
Exactly.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Anyone else? Great, thank you. I will hear a motion to approve the monthly financials if there is one.
So moved.
Okay, we'll give it to, well, you're writing it down, Ellen. You pick between you and Bill, who's gonna make it, who's gonna second it.
I'll give it to Bill.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those are clear in a way. We'll do the committee reports. School improvement is up first.
School improvement is first always. We had wrong in the agenda for our community partner report, and we had Tim Gaffney come and explain the things that he does for us and with our kids especially, and that went very well. I'm going to defer to Kristen maybe to talk about the middle school report, because you did a middle school tour. If you want to
I did,
talk about
yes. Oh geez, I have to remember now. Yeah, I did do the middle school. I met with Ms. Rinaldi. We did a quick tour. Continue to be impressed by I still call them electives. I apologize, they're not electives. What's the term we're using now?
Encore.
Thank you, Encore. There is a class that is, the teacher is Mr. Douglas, and it's a 3D printing, thank you. I want to say printing, but anyway, the kids were really engaged. They were showing me their projects. It was quite interesting. We went to a drama classroom, saw some ESL classes, or ELL. Yeah, it was a great visit. Continue to be impressed with Torrington Middle School, and great staff, and the students were well behaved.
But our big news, I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Ferguson.
Sure, that's actually on the agenda somewhere else though.
It's on the agenda later. You can
I can do
We
it
can
now?
skip it later.
Okay, okay.
Let's do it.
John always lets me do this, I feel almost guilty. So the school improvement committee, as you all know, is the sponsor, if you will, of the distinguished alumnus every year. And this year's successful candidate, the selected candidate is Joanne Ryan, who is the executive director of the Northwest Chamber of Commerce, and spoke last year, didn't she? Last year?
Or this year, it was the seat that's in the fall, maybe, was she one of our speakers?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember her coming this year. She was very honored, very humbled. When I made contact with her, you know, she said, "Oh, Susan, I don't think they don't want me." And I said, "But they do." So she's looking forward to that. We're gonna do it a little differently this year, just because things are a little bit unsettled with the building and so forth. Typically, we honor this person as part of the scholarship night events, the first Thursday in June, but this year, we're gonna back it up a week to the awards night at the high school, which is May 27th. So Joanne will be there to receive her award and to address the students who are present.
Thank you, and as always, we had a huge number of really qualified people. And I thank the staff for putting together the process and making that happen. Coming up this month, we have our high school report, and we will be having the first meeting that this board has had at the new high school. And we also have a presentation of the new math curriculum, which was discussed last night briefly, and we'll hear more about that this next week, this next meeting. And also we will hear about the plans for the summer program this year. We started last year with some words about the success of the summer program that we ran last year, and we'll be hearing what's going to happen going into this summer. So plan on being there. It's always a good meeting. But I'm done. Thank you. Unless there are questions.
Anyone have anything for John? No. Well, thank you for the work as well that goes into the distinguished alumni selection. It can't be an easy choice to make, but the committee has made a good one. Policy committee, Gary's not here.
Kristen, can you speak to your policy meeting? Because I know that you guys had a dress code.
We did.
And it's here for us to talk, if you want to just briefly
Interesting
give us
meeting.
an update on where you guys landed. And
I would say that we all worked very hard and respectful of each other's views to come up with a dress code that we were comfortable with, the administration was comfortable enforcing, but also allowed our students to have their own identity and express themselves. So I'm pleased that we were able to come up with a compromise and what I think is a very well thought out and enforceable policy.
I wasn't part of the conversation, but reading it, I would agree. Does anyone else have any thoughts that it was involved?
She told Gary he couldn't come tonight.
Yeah, oh, is that, that's why he's not here.
No, I would just repeat what Kristen said, that the process worked very well. It could have been contentious, it could have been something to argue about, it wasn't. People continued to work through to find something that would work, and I think we did.
Yeah, it looks at it.
There was a lot of discussion.
Is there a lot cut out? It seems very straightforward and easy to follow.
It is straightforward, it is easy to follow. Our admins were amazing with their feedback, and what we wanted to be able to give them was, like I said, an enforceable and a policy with not a lot of room for interpretation. It's very clearly outlined what we expect from our students, while they, like I said, can still express themselves and keep up with their times.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone that participated. I'm full transparency, I avoided it like the plague. I wanted no part of it. You guys did a great job and thank you so much.
Thank you to our admins as well for their feedback.
Thank you to our admins, to everybody that participated, because we've had those conversations before and they're difficult, yeah, but you guys really did a great job, so thank you.
Anyone else? No? It's better than the last dress code policy that came up anyway, I'll give you that. So next is facilities and technology.
Facilities and technology. Well, our meetings are usually fairly brief due to the lack of funding and capital this year, which was zero. So I always, as usual, I like to commend Rachel and Dean and their teams for keeping the district running with Band-Aids and what they can do. Social media update, I think the websites were moving along. We had a couple schools left to be cut over to the new websites. You can elaborate on that if you'd like.
Yeah, so Vogel and Forbes both became live, and they will all be live hopefully by our next tech meeting, which is in a few weeks.
All right, excellent. Computers, Rachel's working on. We're gonna have some device updates that are gonna be due this year. And as far as facilities goes, Dean's working on the bid for the roof. I think that has gone out or is going out soon.
We'll be going out soon.
Okay, so our TMS roof bid is gonna be hitting the streets pretty soon. We reviewed some contracts to be looked at again due to the new school and so forth. And as far as the projects update, there aren't a lot of projects that are really big going on right now because we have no money to spend anyway. So, with that said, that's our facility. Thanks. Anybody have any questions?
Great, thank you.
Excellent.
budget committee. What's been going on? Your work doesn't really get exciting in a couple weeks from now.
Yeah.
But
It's gonna get exciting, yes,
yeah.
going forward. We're just moving along, and as Donna said, everything's as it should be. Only thing is, going forward and after last night's meeting, we don't know what's coming. So we're just diligently working together.
I wasn't at last night's meeting, but I sincerely hope that the members of the Board of Finance and the council have learned to read the budget and understand that encumbrances are not expenditures. That's been a running theme with them.
We didn't get into that.
No, and so I assume that they have not yet learned financial literacy, but one day. So with that, we'll hear from the building committee.
Can I add to the
Oh,
budget
yes.
summary? Just wanted to add to the budget summary. Thanks to all those who came out last night for those budget meetings and the health insurance meetings. It was a long night for everybody. We appreciate it. But there's a difference in the way the accounting is done between our health insurance accounting. It is net costs and net budgeting, and the city does gross budgeting. Just for the general public to understand, there was some discussion about whether or not the Board of Education was spending more money and wasting taxpayer dollars at this meeting because it showed on paper that our insurance cost more this year. Just so everybody knows, when you go, gross budgeting says if I go buy a car for $26,000 and there's a cash back, like a $5,000 cash back, it would show as a $26,000 car and a revenue of say $7,000 in rebate, and they would be kept totally separate. So in gross budgeting, they would say the Board of Ed spent $26,000 on the car. In net budgeting, like most of us operate out in the world as individuals, when you buy a $26,000 car and there's a $7,500 rebate on it, that car cost you $18,500. So last night in the budget in the health insurance back and forth, it was shown that the Board of Education had spent $465,000 more than we would have otherwise had spent if we had kept with the city. But it did not take into account the $500,000 premium credit, which is like a rebate. So just to be clear, the Board of Education provided similar or better coverage for all of its staff members. And we are always looking out for the taxpayers too. So that was a savings to the taxpayers. And as Superintendent Wilson pointed out, we know what our rate is, at least through the 21-month period. Not everybody can say that because ours is already negotiated. We hope that everybody gets a great rate, that's always the goal. But how this all turns out is up to the future, right? We don't know what our rate will be 3 years from now any more than the city does. So just everybody has to be patient and know that everybody makes the best decisions they can with the information they have at that particular moment. If we could predict the future 5 years from now, we would all be rich. So, but thank you all for the effort. Just wanted to clarify that for everybody and kind of give a generic explanation of how it works. So thank you all for your time and for showing up last night. It was much appreciated to those of us sitting at the table.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. If only certain people who needed to understand what you just said could actually concept it. Because we have explained this to them time and again, and I really do appreciate that you and everyone else here understand it and is willing to explain it, because I'm tired of explaining it to the same people. So
Thank you.
We'll get there, right? Everybody will eventually all work together and we'll get there.
Boy can dream. Let's hear from the building committee now.
Good evening. Just a couple of notes. Progress payment number 18 has been approved by the state. We should receive that within 15 days. Right now, it takes 45 days. I put it in on the first of the month. They review it for 30 days and then they approve it. And then we get the check in the 15th after that.
Check 18 of how many, Ed? How many more do you get? We're nearing the end, so I'm just interested.
I put in for 2 payments at a time, so we're gonna end this in September, October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
because of the fields and so forth.
yeah, it's coming
Just let
quick.
you know, we've already received $108 million from the state. The state keeps about 8%, which is about $10 million. They keep that until after the project's approved. 6 months after that, it's audited, and then you get the payment. So what happens in the end of the project, we have to go out for bans for all that money because it has to be paid to people, to contractors. Just to let you know, at the end of last month, we are paid $143 million out to contractors. And you get the monthly report of the contractors, what they've been paid, and you also get the line item is what their contracts is. So we have that. And we're moving along.
That's it? Okay. Regarding the actual construction, if you guys have been by, we have half a B building left and a shop point, that's all that's left.
Also, if you look at it, it's wide open.
Oh,
so
it's hard to.
So you know the
I haven't seen
fields
it,
are
it
gonna
must
be
be
there.
so strange.
Oh my gosh, it is weird,
I have to
weird.
drive
There's a
by.
lot more room there than it looks like.
Yeah.
So they anticipate another couple weeks to take those buildings down and another couple weeks to rip up the foundations. The middle school is almost done. There's fine cleaning, as they call it, being done right now on the second floor. That'll be done on Saturday. Same thing will happen next week for the third floor. The first floor is getting prepped for flooring next week. The HVAC balancing is also starting next week. Furniture starts arriving on the 17th for the library, and then on the 22nd for the balance of the school.
I took Mrs. Rinaldi on a visit the other day through the school. I gave her a hard hat and she went through it. And she really loved the building. And she had questions about which kid is gonna go here and so forth, so.
Yep. Area H, which is our gym basically, and the auto shop, which is connected to the gym. The roof deck is complete. Over the gym, the roof deck will be complete next week. Over the locker room section, parapet walls will start next week, with just a little wall on top of the roof to tie the roof into it. Masonry block will start next week. The underground work, plumbing and drainage has coming down that hallway. That's gonna be outside the gym into the auto shop. That is done and the slab will be poured next week and steel erection is due to start on the 14th. As far as the fields go, if you've been by, there's topsoil everywhere. Mounds and mounds and mounds of topsoil. The city is taking topsoil for one day only, tomorrow. They're not quite sure how much they could afford to give away, so they're just gonna give them a small bite out of it. They're gonna truck it all day tomorrow. They're both loading it and trucking it, which is good. The underground piping and the pipelining is scheduled for next week. I should have said, the lining of the water pipes. Whitestone is coming in to check for unsuitable soils next week. So far, so good, no rocks or anything like that they've hit. The final field documents, 100% are supposed to be in next week, and there'll be a coordination meeting with Liberty, who's doing the bulk of the work out there, and Eagle Fencing as well. And that is about that.
Hey, anyone have anything?
I do.
Fire.
Tomorrow or Friday?
What'd I say? About what?
Removing the soil, topsoil.
Tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, Friday. We meet on Thursdays. Yeah, we meet, I thought it was building committee.
Gotta be nervous.
Mario, how are we doing on the hazardous materials, the asbestos and things? One of the prior meetings, we had talked about how they found a little bit, but we were hanging in pretty good with the budget. How's
Right
that
now,
looking?
it's just a little bit and no
Yeah.
extra money.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
That's a big relief right there.
Especially in the 60s,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And
Everything
no
was built
dead
with
bodies,
asbestos.
we didn't find any.
No, thank God.
Jimmy Hoffa was not down there.
Are we done digging?
Wait till they tear up the foundation. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
I understand
Anyone
Jimmy
else?
Hoffa has a very nice seat at the field with the Giants.
That's what
Yeah,
they
right,
say.
that's what they say.
Glenn?
Yeah, Ed, thanks for your
Like
information. I know you send out that packet monthly.
Yeah.
I had asked several months ago for a project budget summary, which I eventually received. That would include the total project cost. We did get the one pager. And contrary to Mario's sarcastic email, I do open my ears and I do open my eyes. I went back 8 months and that report is nowhere in any of your packets. So moving forward, could you please include the total project summary for the project that adds up to the $185, $186 million?
No problem. As long as everybody reads it. That's all I care about.
We read budget documents.
I'm just
This
saying,
isn't City
people
Hall.
come up to me who are whether it's what it is. And I just, they say, the question is, I says, that's why I send it out to everybody.
I don't think the 2 additional pages out of the 100-page packet that you take the time to put together.
No problem, no problem. And anytime you have a question, I'm here. My phone is open, I take calls.
I don't have your phone number.
Yeah, it's,
Don't give it to her, don't give it to her.
He's very secretive.
Listen, you've gone
He's
this
hard to
long,
reach.
you've gone this long, it's probably a good idea
There
not
might
to
be
have
a
it.
reason for that.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I got one additional question.
Yeah.
I do read your packets. You mentioned that the city is loading the dirt. I thought I read a potential change order of,
there was one change order when we had to load it, the city now is gonna load it.
Yeah, the first pile, if you remember that big pile that was out near the
Yeah,
softball diamond,
that was for the equipment and time for the guy to
right, we
run the loader
loaded,
to load the
we
truck?
loaded into their trucks. This time we told them, if you want it, you gotta load it.
Okay.
Cause we,
It cost us $15,000
Yeah,
to load it.
we could use the
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
we're
they
just
were-
giving it
Yeah,
away,
they
then.
were.
They were okay with that.
That's good.
I think on a positive note too, guys, getting rid of the soil at all is saving us money, correct? I mean,
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
big dollars, just so everybody knows, like it's a help, however we're getting rid of it.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah, it's a
dollars,
big-
yeah.
Anyone else for the building committee? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys.
Let's do the minutes real quick, so, barring any objection, I would do the Board of Education full meeting minutes as a bundle, so that would be a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from March 26th, and the special meeting minutes from February 19th, April 11th, and that's 2 separate meetings on April 11th, and April 16th. So again, these are regular and special Board of Education full meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
Question about the minutes.
Yeah.
The heading on the meeting of March 26th says Torrington Elementary School cafeteria.
Were we in the
We
cafeteria?
moved to the middle school.
We moved, that was, they had an emergency.
Yeah.
It may or may not make a difference,
Oh,
but it
because
should
of
show
the
up someplace.
Sprinklers.
Yeah, okay, so I will hear a motion to approve them with that amendment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So that's Bill and Kristen?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll do the subcommittee meeting minutes again, barring any objection, we'll do them as a group, so that's facilities and technology on March the 12th. Budget on February 26th, March 12th, and March 26th, school improvement on March 5th, policy on February 5th, and building committee on April 10th. Is there a motion, amended or not?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any
John
opposed?
and Sue?
Yep, those meeting minutes are received. I will hear a motion to receive the consent agenda. It is in the packet, if there is such a motion.
Question.
Let's hear the motions first, and then we'll do discussion.
So moved. Or, yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I just have a quick question. The consent agenda shows the spring production for the middle school as a point on this particular April agenda, but the show's old. When would we normally see, wouldn't we normally see these prior?
Yeah, so we get the recommendations from the school, and sometimes the forms that come in, this inter-office mail and things, so yes, but they get paid the stipend after the production's over.
Right, I was just thinking that, not that anybody has an objection to any of these, but if anybody had a question in this case.
This effectively approves the issuing of the stipend.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying, so it can happen, and then if we didn't approve it, we
Exactly.
get paid.
Right, because
Got it.
that's all the consent agenda does,
Right.
is it sort of runs very quickly through all retirements, resignations, appointments, et cetera, for anybody to anything that pays.
It was the check, that was
Yeah.
first.
It happens with athletic coaching too sometimes, because the reality is, the coaches oftentimes start in the summer, but we don't actually get them on the consent agenda until August, when we meet. So sometimes the timing is not necessarily, in line with that, but again, this is really to
I
approve the
just
stipend.
curious, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's done. We have next, the field trip for Sturbridge Village on May 30th.
Right, Forbes School. Mr. Klein, do you wanna give us a quick?
I'd be happy to. So last year, we had the privilege of taking our kids for fifth grade up to Sturbridge. It was a beautiful sunny day, similar to today. Kids had a great time with a lot of hands-on experiences, being able to see what the colonial lifestyle looked like, the housing structures and whatnot, and the kids came back and they absolutely loved it. They were over the moon, and many of them who had never seen that before or experienced it absolutely were enthralled with it, and we advocate to be able to potentially go again, so.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Klein? Okay, thank you. So with that, I would hear a motion to approve the field trip for Forbes School Sturbridge Village on May 30th.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Bill and Jeff?
Yep, the field trip is approved. We have next revised policy 5024, that's the dress code that was briefly spoken to earlier. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? I just have something briefly, and I'm not trying to derail the policy or anything. So I'm interested mostly in the disciplinary consequences. It lays out first, second, third offense. Third offense, they get ISS, and then it doesn't really say anything after that other than an accumulation of disciplinary for infractions will require a mandatory meeting and will lead to discipline up to and including possible expulsion. So I'm just interested at what point does the administration decide that wearing a tank top is an expellable offense? Like, where's the line? Because the policy does leave that vague. It doesn't leave what the kids can wear vague, which I appreciate. But, you know.
How many times?
So what I can tell you is that what we said, this was all approved by our attorney. And what we said to the attorney had exactly what you are looking for. And they came back to us and said, strike that and intentionally leave it open like that.
Oh, yes, and legally that makes perfect sense, and if I was our lawyer, I would have said the same thing. But what I'm asking, I guess, is what is the interpretation? What is the administration considering, right? Because it's not the Board of Education that refers students for expulsion, it's the principal and the superintendent. So, you know, what is the consideration there? I guess, I mean, I asked it kind of abruptly, but what are the factors that will drive the administration, the current administration of Torrington Public Schools, to refer a student for expulsion for dress code violation?
I think the first sentence says an accumulation of discipline,
Right, so how many? Over how much time?
Well, I think legal intentionally left it out, right, for that reason. He probably doesn't want us talking about it to this extent.
I can try to answer it. I mean, I understand the question and I understand the concern. I think, you know, when we do have a mandate by law that there's a certain number of ISS that would actually automatically put, and OSS, I should say, that would automatically fast track the process for an expulsion. When we're talking about infractions with the dress code, right, the whole premise is to kind of try to show progressive discipline with the dress code. So if a student is inappropriately dressed and spoken to once, twice, 3, 4 times, it's hard to say in terms of a number, Mr. Corey, only because if that student were to basically come in on a Monday and then a Tuesday and then Wednesday and the continual component of it, that would be a higher level of concern. If a student comes in on a Monday in September and is in inappropriate dress and has been spoken to and following the policy set forth by the Board of Education is spoken to in discipline, and we don't have to speak to that student again until maybe February or March when the weather gets nicer, or whatever the case may be, that wouldn't be a student that we would obviously recommend for expulsion. However, if that same student, you know, every single Monday in September and every single Tuesday in October and every single Wednesday in November and blatant disrespect for the policy and violates the policy, our administrators would contact central office, we would have a conversation, and we would say, have you spoken to the student? Yes. Have you spoken to the parent? Yes. Have you had a meeting? Yes. And the student is still doing X, Y, or Z. The student is not learning, they're not taking responsibility for their actions. Therefore, that would springboard the conversation to the next level of discipline.
Great. And that actually is sort of the answer I was looking for. It wasn't a gotcha question. I was
No,
looking
I
for a
know.
legitimate answer. Well, because it would be
Wanna
patently.
bind us to a specific number.
No, I just think it would be patently absurd to say a student has 10 dress code violations over their 4-year high school career, and now we're gonna expel you in your senior year. I mean, the policy reads that that's a plausible thing within the framework, so I don't want that situation. I think we have to expect that sometimes our students are going to misbehave either on purpose or by mistake, and, an expulsion is very serious. It can really derail a student's career, and I don't really like doing that, frankly.
Yeah, I think it's the blatant disrespect
Right.
component.
Great, thank you. Anyone else have anything? There was no one before me, but, okay. So with that, we'll go to a vote on this. So all those in favor of the revised policy, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so that policy is adopted. We have done the distinguished alumnus recipient announcement. Congratulations again to Joanne Ryan, Chamber of Commerce, who is just a stellar communitarian, and real leader in this community. Lastly, for our new business items, we have a calendar change. Last page of the packet, right?
Yes, I can speak to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the recommendation and the request of the Board of Education this evening is to make June 13th an early dismissal day for all of our students. That'll be the final day for school for pre-K to 8. Because if you recall, in January, we had to the board elected to give the high school students a day off, but the staff had to come in. So June 16th would be kind of that flip-flop, if you will, and the 16th for high schoolers is makeup exams, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Scott. But that would be a day of school for students at the high school. However, no school for pre-K to 8 students on June 16th, but a full day for staff. And that was a request by the teachers union and other unions because there's a lot of movement, the redistricting, and people need to pack up and move. And even those who are staying and are just moving classrooms, they wanted that time to box up, which would also help Dean and Rachel out a tremendous amount. And those other staff members that do come in, just like other staff members volunteer to help at the high school, same deal. We would hope some of our high school friends would volunteer if they don't have any makeup exams or they're buttoned up to go help our pre-K to 8 friends. So that's the request from the Board of Education this evening to approve that calendar change.
Now, was the 16th going to be a staff workday anyway, or no?
It was supposed, with the number of days that we had from snow and other incidents, that would have been the last day. So that's why we thought it would be a nice transition not to have everyone come back on that Monday and let staff come back to get that day that they needed to make up the days on the calendar.
Right, yeah, as long as there's no per diems that have to get paid for it, I mean.
Just the June 13th half day for students, is it for staff as well?
So the early dismissal days, Kim, you can speak to that.
Yeah.
We had
Okay,
this
so each
conversation this
union has
morning.
some different language about how half-days are treated, so.
What union, I'm sorry?
All the different unions
Oh,
have
each
some
one of
different
them.
language on that, so like the para educators, for example, it says if the last day of school is a half day for students, then they can leave when the students are fully dismissed without any, harm to their pay. So, but each union has different language about, some would leave early, some would not.
What is
That's
it,
why the
what are
16th
you,
is a full.
for teachers and admins?
For 16th, yes.
The 16th is, oh, okay.
16th would be a full day for everyone.
No, the 13th.
13th is just the early dismissal, and like as Kim said, dependent upon the union.
if the teachers are gonna stay on that.
The teachers in their contract,
I don't remember on the top of my head.
we could get into that.
I would have to look at it.
All right.
They all know.
If
I
we
just don't remember them all off the top of my
All
head. It's hard. I mean, my-
It just, to me, I asked the
Yeah.
question, I wrote in myself
Yeah.
and staff, but it's just a little vague. Maybe it's not to the staff, but.
Yes, they all have very clear language in their contracts.
So, right, if it's a half day for the students,
Yeah.
you would just follow
Whatever their
required.
union contract
Oh, okay.
says. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just don't know them all off the top of my head.
That's okay.
I know the
I
para
was
one
thinking
because
too.
somebody asked me recently, but
That's
I
okay.
don't remember all of them off the top of my head. I usually have to look them up. I have, over the course of my 15 years, I've got like 18 different union contracts rattling around in my head. So, sometimes I don't even know what I'm remembering. So I just have to read it sometimes to double check it. So,
I just don't know it
Thank
off the
you.
top of my head, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I would hear a motion to approve, Bill, go ahead.
What new date is being proposed for that meeting?
So the changes are, June 13th would be a half day for students and a final day of school for them, operate on a half day schedule. June 16th, no school for pre-K through 8 students, exams you said for high school. Makeup exams for high school, and all employees would report to work.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had it straight.
Yep. So I would hear a motion to approve those calendar changes if there is one.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And Sue?
Yep, okay, we have items for the upcoming agenda. It's possible, I suppose, by then that we would be making any final budget decisions. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, based on what the city does and how quickly our budget folks turn things around. Okay, so they'll probably do it June 3rd, so we'll reserve that. We'll have all of the usual reports from our team. Anyone else have anything you want on the agenda? Okay, it's always a living document anyway. Comments for the good of the order. I'll start at the left end of the table for my left, so that's you, Bill. Comments for the good of the order.
Who?
You.
Oh, me, I'm sorry. I have a new phone number. I have a phone that's 90% voice activated that allows me to receive and make calls, and I can send and receive text messages. It also will, I'm still learning on how to use it. It also will allow me to read text, I'm told both typewritten and handwritten. Typewritten I've worked with a little. I haven't tried with handwritten yet, but the new number is 860-782-5144. I still have the number that you folks have been using on the flip phone for a while, but that's going to, as I get more proficient with the new phone, we're going to see the flip phone probably sometime in the next month.
Right, and Sue wrote down Bill's new phone number, so if anyone else in the group needs it, because I didn't write it down, we will get it from Sue after the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Knight. John?
Very good meeting tonight. Yet another reason to get lunch at Jimmy's was the highlight.
Kristen?
Great meeting. Quick question about next month's meetings at the high school. Where at the high school?
So we'll be in the cafeteria,
Okay,
the high school cap. We're gonna be, basically, the board will be situated along the auditorium side. So
Okay.
Dean has mapped it out.
okay, perfect. I kind of wanna, I got a little upset last night. I wanna publicly apologize, that I got upset. I'm very passionate about Torrington Public Schools. I kind of let my head get the best of me, but I stand by what I said. The only thing that I didn't say, and I meant to, is how amazed I am every day with the high school. Their offerings, their community partnerships, the camaraderie, and just the school spirit that comes with being at the high school. I'm just really impressed by it every day. I mean, my 9th grader talks about some photography class that she's just enamored with, and even asked for a $1,000 camera that she now knows how to work. So, you can thank that teacher for me. But just, not just the academic courses, but all of the additional things that accompany a high school career. It's really astounding to see what you all have done there. And I'm very proud to have my daughter at the high school. So thank you for that. I did leave that out last night. Again, I apologize, I got a little passionate about my town and my schools that I've lived here for 45 years. I'm very proud of Torrington schools. We have come a long way. We've been through a lot. As parents in this district, we've endured more than we should have had to. And I'll be the first to say it, the redistricting and sending my kids from Torrington to Forbes I was not happy about it. But I can say with certainty that I'm happy with the direction that the Torrington schools are going in. I encourage anybody in the public to please come to our school improvement meetings, our regular Board of Ed meetings, and hear about the amazing things that are happening in our schools, because we have the most amazing staff. We have the most amazing team here. And I want to remind everyone that the 10 of us are volunteers. And we give a lot of our time, and all we are doing it for is for the kids in this town. And I really think people need to remember that and how much we care. And really I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. I wanted to add that. I wanted to kind of apologize for my passion last night. That's just me. I'm Italian, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
You don't have to.
Absolutely not.
Thanks again, everybody who came out to the meeting last night and the support along the way. I'm sure there'll be more to come, and hopefully we all find a way to work together and get somewhere good before the end of the year. Thanks for all your help tonight, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, everything that you said, and then Rob,
He is
so
awesome.
wonderful to the community, not just Torrington Public Schools, but the community itself. He's just phenomenal, and it's wonderful.
No, good meeting, excellent, 2 more to go.
But who's counting?
One is,
Apparently.
A very good meeting. I did want to mention, again, thank everybody for coming out, just echoing what everyone else has said, and I am proud to be part of this district and this board and this team. Michael, thank you for representing Torrington at the conference. That was important. The music, the Welcome Home song, and the fact that Torrington is going to be featured every time somebody opens up that song and downloads it is amazing. And that's something that everybody that's part of this district should be proud of. So thank you, everybody. And that's it.
Rachel.
Great meeting, thank you. I did want to say that the technicians on the high school team have made it a point to go to Jimmy's once a week to try the new sandwiches that come out.
Just supporting, right?
Yes, and Jesse over there puts it up on all the digital signage boards and everything, just like the featured sandwich. So just a really cool event that they did. But yeah, thank you.
Deep.
Good meeting. I'm sorry I wasn't invited to the food festival, but.
Awesome. We'll be there next year. Don't worry, I got you.
You guys can take the next one.
You'll be my guest.
So I just wanted to say that after sitting through the meeting last night, I was kind of like introspective about our board, and I just wanted to say that it has been a very big honor to work with our Board of Ed, because it's so clear to me that you are 100% for the kids and for us, and that's just so huge. And as I'm watching you guys get battered, it just really made me think, like you said, you're not paid to do this, and yet you're always there, you always have our backs. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out and let you know that it really kind of hit me last night, so.
Thank you.
That was a great meeting. Congratulations to Joy and Ryan. I had the honor of speaking with her just last week at the job fair that we went to at City Hall, where we were trying to recruit paras. So it was really exciting to hear her being recognized, because she's always been a partner of those things. So, but a fantastic meeting, and I really love the music thing too, because I'm a band mom, so like I love that stuff.
It was cool. I don't know anything about music, but it was
Yeah, so that was very, very cool. So, but that's it, and thank you to all of you.
Great meeting, and I'm going for the Mac attack personally. But yeah, ditto what Laura and Kim said as well, and you said it well, Kristen, that, the board is here for the children. That was your ending statement, no need to apologize, that was very well stated.
I just want to reiterate what I tried to convey last night, there are amazing things happening in each one of our schools every single day. And we're seeing the magic really happening at the lower grades because of the change in the instructional delivery model that we've made. But what we're beginning to see now is how that's manifesting year after year because the kids are moving from grade to grade with the skills that they need to have to be successful the next time. I mean, I could cry. Michael and I were in a first grade classroom a couple weeks ago, and what those 6 and 7-year-olds were doing is I can't even describe it to you. It's just so wonderful. So I promise you that this is eventually gonna land at 7th and 8th grade where we're gonna see what should have been happening. You know, the whole language movement that started in the 90s, shame on everybody in the country for
jumping on that
bandwagon, right? I mean, the generations of, yes, instructional casualties, but you know, we can't turn back time. We're doing what we need to do, and in literacy, and our kids are literate and they're excited, and behavior referrals are going down because they're happy in school and they see themselves as readers and writers and mathematicians, and it's beyond exciting. So while, you know, I'm not a Torringtonian, I feel in my heart kind of like I am,
You've been
right?
around long
I've been
enough.
around long enough.
We'll adopt you.
Yeah, exactly, you know, and I just, it's so funny because this is just a quick aside. When I first moved back to Connecticut, when I was like 25 years old, I couldn't afford property here. I wanted to live in Torrington and I couldn't buy a house in the 80s when the real estate was so crazy high. But I love Torrington, and it just is so exciting for me to see what's happening. So I too am deeply bothered by those things. So thank you for your passion.
Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more, you know, we are a proud bunch, as we should be. You know, we care about our students, you care about our students, I said that last evening. We actually had an admin meeting, as most of you saw walking in tonight, talking about that very thing to our athletes. We will always keep students at our focus, even when some others might not. And that's our job. And while it does derail us sometimes and demoralize us at times, that's who we're here for. And that's really, if we remember that, and as Sue said, you know, and everyone at the office will tell you, when they see Sue and I get up out of our chairs and walk out, they all say, you're going to your happy place. And that's where we're going. We come to the schools and we are always reminded when we go there of the hard work of all of our staff members, all of our teachers, all of our administrators, everyone. And that does not go unnoticed. Our students, when we walk in and they're happy to show, whether it be an art project or read a book to Sue or I, or to really just kind of sit and chat with us, or in the cafeteria and just have a fun moment. You know, that's our happy place. And that's what really just puts our laser focus back. And we know we're doing great things. I mean, we share it with the state, we've shared it with the board, we've shared it last evening. You know, in the year and 3 quarters that I've been here, we're already showing tremendous growth in certain grade levels. You know, that is not to be taken lightly. That is a huge team effort. You know, if I were to tell you statistically would that happen? No, it would probably take at least 3 years. So to do it at a year and 3 quarters, everyone around this table, everyone in this audience should be darn proud of the work that they're doing for all of the students in Torrington. So Kristen, your passion, I appreciated it, and I appreciate, you know, everything that this board does for everyone. I don't ever apologize for passion myself, because I also get very passionate, but your intent was that it is about our students, and that's where we all have to remember. Whenever times are tough, and I can tell you, everyone on this central office cabinet, I know I said Sue and I go out, everyone was charged this year to go out, and everyone has been in the building. And I'll tell you right now, that's their happy place too. And when they come back and they're smiling and say, oh, I met this great first grader, I met this great high school student. Yeah, exactly. Now we come back and do the work that piled up on our desk, but that's okay. That's what it's there for, and we have to be with our students. So I just wanted to share that and share that we are making great gains. We will continue to make great gains. We have great people who care about this community and care about the most important piece of our community, which is our students. Thank you.
I wasn't able to be there last night, so I won't pontificate for too terribly long. But I will just say that while this is exhausting, I certainly appreciate everything everyone is doing. And I, for one, and I hope that you also will take this up, I don't ever apologize for anything I've ever said about any of these people. And I don't think I'll ever apologize for anything I will say about any of these people. I've never met a group of a dozen people who all know what the mayor's shoes taste like. It's just, it's shameful the way they behave. They're anti-worker. They're opposed to our administrator's contract for no reason, at great expense to the taxpayer, because they're petty, they're prideful, and it's mean-spirited against our 4,000 children that we're trying to educate with no money. Things cost money. That's just sort of a fact of life, right? You want something, you have to pay for it. That means that if you want a highly educated, qualified, experienced person to stand in front of your children for 7, 8, 9 hours a day, you have to pay them. And that expertise is not cheap. If you want to make sure that we educate every student to the best of our ability, regardless of their need, that means that you have to pay special ed teachers. It means you have to pay paraprofessionals and for programs. If you want books for them to read, you have to pay for them. It's not very hard when you think about it. But somehow this group of people at City Hall, most of them political cast-offs and losers who have ended up there because they couldn't win election anything else, just spend all their time assuming that we're burning money and not, using it for the kids. Our budget has been transparent from day one. It always is. Every month you can look at what we've spent and what we're going to spend. We're not doing anything malfeasant with it. We're not hiding money in slush funds the way that City Hall does. We're using it to educate children. I don't make any money for this. I don't think anyone else here has ever done anything shady enough to get paid doing this job. And certainly many of our employees don't make enough money for the work that they're doing. So it's an insult to every single student, every child, and every parent in the community to look at the Board of Education's budget, which has gone up less than $2 million by my reckoning in the 8 years I've been on the board, and say, well, you have enough and you don't need any more money. We're gonna create lots of jobs in the city side that we're not gonna fill, and we're gonna use the money for whatever we want, but no, the kids don't get any money. It's an insult, it's pathetic. And I say all this because I don't think that their minds are ever going to change. I don't think that if I'm nice to them tonight that we're going to get lots of money. So I think people ought to know what's happening and just how disgusting it all is. And I won't take up any more of your time. For our future meetings, we have Wednesday, May 7th, School Improvement and Policy at THS. Wednesday, May 14th, 5:30 and 6 o'clock at Midgeon Avenue. We have Facilities, Technology, and Budget, and then the regular Board of Education meeting, May 28th at 5:30 at THS, is that right? We doing it there? We are doing it there. And with that, I will hear a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, I just wanted to make one final comment about my new phone. If you call me and I inadvertently gets disconnected, it's still a learning curve for me, so it's
You're
not
not hanging
personal
up on us?
if that happens.
I would hang up on you, Bill. I don't know. With that, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at